Hello, hello. You are so welcome to Love Local. My name's Phil, and I'm joined here.
My name's Gail. Hello.
Hello. It's so great to have you with us on our first ever Love Local broadcast to Bookham, Fetcham, Effingham and Leatherhead. Why? Because we live in a fantastic community, don't we, Gail?
Absolutely do.
All right. And so tonight we have got some really special guests lined up for you. I'm calling them our local celebrities, all right? But they are just so wonderful people. We're so thrilled to have them with us tonight. We've got Heidi, we've got Edna, and we've got Dwain, and we're going to hear about them. So we're going to start off. Who should we start off with?
Going to start off with Heidi.
Let's start off with Heidi. Right.
Yay.
Have you got a question for Heidi?
Yeah, Heidi, lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for being here today. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you do in your community and why do you do it?
Okay, I'm
Small question.
Yeah, yes. I'm the manager of Rainbow Preschool that is actually run in the Bookham Baptist Church in Bookham, and we are open every morning in the week for children. You know, obviously we support, it's not just the children, obviously the children come to Rainbow to play, but obviously we support parents as well. We're very inclusive, so we have lots of different diverse families and cultures in our setting.
Wow. How many kids have you got coming?
So on roll at the moment we have 34, but we can only take 26 every morning. So
and what age?
2 to 5.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Gosh.
Yes,
Right.
but we have a dedicated staff who are very passionate about their job, as I am. So that helps.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So Heidi, you know, give me an example. Give me a story of something that's happened recently that you've just really chuffed about.
I think my main thing at the moment is that we're chuffed that we've made it through COVID. We've made it through, you know, all the changes and everything like that we've had to cope with. We've got lots of plans that, you know, because we use lots of different outdoor space because, you know, we've got a big hall, but our outdoor free flow area isn't that big.
Yeah.
So we're developing the library garden. So Surrey County Council have allowed us to use their garden 3 days a week, 3 mornings rather.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And we're actually planning to put a big vegetable plot in there for the children to actually use their whole bodies to dig and everything like that. We've also now just got back to being able to use the playground and the woodland area at the Dwain school, which is fantastic for the children. We want to be outside as much as possible. The children really enjoy the different experiences. So the woodland area is all about mini beast hunting and the natural world around us.
Yeah.
Library garden is, you know, large gross motor play and everything like that, with our vegetable patch that's coming in the spring. And the playground is using all your core strength to climb and slide and balance and everything like that.
Wow.
You'll be getting chickens next.
We would love to. We'd love to get chickens. That has been mentioned, hatching chickens, but we hatch butterflies, but we've yet to do chickens.
It's got to be done. Maybe some rabbits as well, because I know Dwain is a big rabbit fan.
I think I'm going to have to ask Dwain to come in with one of his big rabbits.
To come in and use our garden.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
And the rabbits are normally out there.
Oh, are they? Oh, I
Hey.
might have to take you up on that.
That's what this is about, linking people up.
Not a problem at all.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, if you had to highlight one of your team who has really, you know, grown or really moved out of their comfort zone and doing something unique, who would you highlight and why?
I would highlight a member of staff who joined us nearly 2 years ago, and they are a single dad, but he used to help at the toddler group here.
Right.
And really enjoyed it. So we took him on with support with all the staff and training, and worked with him, and he's really, really just, the children absolutely adore him. It's having a father figure, a dad in the play school, having a man, so it brings a different energy. And you know, he's just taken everything on board. He's joined us in training, not scared to ask when he doesn't understand something, and he's really progressing well. So really, really pleased.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Coming into that team and just seeing him blossom.
He's growing, he's blossoming, and he's so enjoyed. He says he looks at us like another family, which is really lovely.
That's fantastic.
Feels very
right.
Sounds like you've got a lovely atmosphere for your colleagues and your co-workers, and that creates a lovely atmosphere with the kids as well.
We're a really close team, really close, and what we love is that everybody works most days. So when the children come in, they're seeing the same faces every day. We get a great bond with the children and the parents, and we've got parents' consultations coming up soon, which we're doing face-to-face because we really wanted to. Because of COVID, we haven't been able to.
So you're reaching out into a lot of the community there, Heidi. Now, next to you, Edna, you're doing the same thing, but you're not doing it with reaching out to children, are you? No. How are you reaching out into the community?
Well, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago this week, we started the Community Fridge, which initially was all about saving food from landfill.
Right.
But little did we see the horizon, which was going to be lockdown and nobody was going to be able to come out. So instead of having people come to us to take the food that we collected from the supermarkets, we had to rethink how that could work. And we got volunteers together and we started delivering bags of food to the people that we knew were more vulnerable, or we were given names from various charities and organisations that felt these people might need support. A lot of people were self-isolating, so they couldn't go to the shops anyway.
Of course.
So we started off doing about 20 bags, and within 3 months we were doing 200 bags.
Wow.
And it stayed like that for a year.
Gosh. Is that mainly Bookham or wider afield?
Effingham, Fetcham, mostly Bookham, to be fair. We were really surprised when we got as many addresses as we did. Mid-Surrey Community Fridges contacted us and said, we can get you the food. If you've got people you want to deliver to, you need to research your area and see if there's a need. And I thought, I'm never, we can supply you with 60 bags of food. So they said, we're coming next week with enough food to fill 60 bags. And at that time, we had 20 addresses, so I had to get on the phone and ring round a few charities. Well, by the end of the day, I had over 100 addresses.
Wow,
so I was going to have to make
amazing.
60 bags of food stretched to 100. But all the supermarkets came on board with, they were actually looking for an avenue to send their food because they hated the fact that it was all going into landfill.
No one loves waste.
So
it ends up being the
bringing
default,
it all
though.
together was quite a logistical exercise that we continue to do, but we're just trying to draw back now. We're trying to get it on a more sustainable basis where people now come to us and pick the food up. And we're trying to spread the food a bit wider, so we've got the Grange coming on board next week with a community fridge there. And St Mary's at Fetcham started a community fridge. We give them the food. We draw the food in, we send it out.
It's another local distribution point for it.
We train their volunteers, provide them with a fridge, and then visit them each week to deliver the food. But it just spreads the load, and it spreads it to the wider community as well.
That's fantastic.
We're loving it, but it's just, we're having to just move with the changing times.
Go with the flow.
Really. Yeah.
Now, I've got a question for Gail here, Edna. All right, so question for you. What do you think is the most common food item that is distributed by the community fridge? What do you reckon?
I would go for bread or milk.
Bread or milk. So Edna?
Well, bread, we get masses of bread.
Well,
Yeah.
well spotted.
Ah,
But I was wondering what Phil was going to say, because we get a lot of alternative milks as well, and Phil
Oh,
enjoys
really?
the alternative milk.
I do,
And
yeah.
people have got to know us for having alternative milks. So we don't get quite so many now, but during lockdown there seemed to be an awful lot of soya and oats and almond and all the other milks that you can now get.
and
So,
how many volunteers do you have on your? as
on the
part of
list
your-
at the moment, I've got 46.
Wow, gosh.
We're just trying to reorganise, so some of the volunteers that used to help us deliver are sort of coming away from that. They're all of them, without exception, are willing to help us in any way they can. They just know it would be a different role if they were delivering before, because we're trying to draw back. But yeah, I've got an amazing team of volunteers. We could not have done it without the people that just came behind me and supported. So it's-
100%, 100%. And did you sort of notice that as lockdown progressed, that people wanted to do something to help those who were struggling?
Yeah. Do something that makes a difference. And we
Yeah.
know that we've made a big difference
Yeah.
to a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, you have made a difference. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And we're gonna move on now to our third guest. Many of you will know Dwain from walking around the village, from popping your head over the fence at the Crown, and seeing Dwain out there, often with his pet rabbit, as we've already mentioned. But Dwain, how long have you been at the Crown?
I have been there now for 2.5 years.
2.5 years, right? And so how have things changed for you? So that must mean you joined just before lockdown.
9 months before lockdown.
Hey,
it was
right.
all going really well.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, didn't quite see that one coming.
And I know from, as all of us have sort of driven past across lockdown, often seen little food vans and things out on that triangle.
Yeah, we had tuck trucks in over the lockdown, so that we could at least offer something, because we couldn't invite anybody into the building. You might have noticed we decorated our garden quite a lot as well, just to let people know we were still there and give people a smile.
Yeah. No.
So important when things are a bit
There,
dreary.
there-
if you've
there was a
got,
lot going on,
yeah, it's really important just to have those little bits of relief and
Yeah.
things that people can enjoy.
No, absolutely. So how's it been for you?
It's been a little bit scary. I mean, we've had lots of changes all the way through. So 1 minute we're all wearing masks, we've all got to sit at tables. We went 1.5 years without actually serving over a bar. We all became waiters and learnt to carry trays. That was quite fun. there was a few accidents.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many did you spill?
I mean, the great fun was when we had the Euros. So suddenly we had everybody wanting to watch football,
Yeah.
but we had to serve every table from the table without them coming to the bar, and ask them not to shout too loudly at the time, because they might have been spreading virus as well.
Oh, gosh.
We tried. We think we did really well, but it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I know from knowing you around the village, you're involved in whatever's sort of going on in the high street. You are well up for it. Can you just tell us a bit about what you love about Bookham and the community?
The community, to be honest, the village. We run a weekly meat raffle at the pub, which we give money to the Grange, and we've just raised the money for the Princess Alice Hospice, so they can have a new shed at the back of their property, because they're now becoming a hub for several other shops.
Oh, brilliant.
So hopefully in the next month or so we should get the nod, and then we shall actually be putting it up for them with a couple of locals as well.
Oh, that's
So,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and then at Christmas time, along with Brackenbridge, because my boss, Darren, and Debbie Ketley, they also own Brackenbridge as well as the Crown.
That's a little DIY shop.
That's a little
Yeah.
DIY shop. I say little DIY shop. If you go in, it does happen to open up like an Aladdin's cave.
Yeah, I was going to say the TARDIS.
Yeah.
I take the
Magic
rabbits there to get their own food, so they go upstairs and choose it. But we opened a collection point at Brackenbridge, and we collected presents for the children at the Casey ward at Epsom Hospital.
Wow.
So the first year we did it was very much during lockdown, and we collected 100 presents for them.
Wow.
This year we collected 86 presents and an envelope with 200 quid in it, which was passed to the nurses and told to do something inappropriate with it. So, and that is all our customers and local community that have got behind that and put into it, which is really good.
That is fantastic.
amazing.
Well done. Well done. And looking into the future, Dwain, in terms of, coming out of the pandemic, hopefully, what's your hopes for the Crown?
Well, firstly, I'm going to backtrack really quickly and say I do run the Old Crown, but I do run it with my good lady Maggie, because I don't fancy getting home and getting hurt tonight.
That's a good recovery,
Who has
Dwain.
supported
Good
me and helped me
recovery.
all the way through this.
Shout out to Maggie, love it.
And I'm hoping with her help that we are going to go forward. People are getting a little bit more confident at coming to the pub now. We've got some very big open areas and outside areas, so we're hoping in the summer. Because we're hoping that this year will be the first time in 2 years we've actually been able to celebrate Easter.
Yeah.
So we will be having our egg hunts and an Easter bonnet parade.
And the rabbit.
Sorry?
And the
rabbit.
And the
Easter
rabbits.
Bunny.
Yeah, well, there was a rumour going around that they are somewhere related to the Easter Bunny.
Right.
So they should be very active at Easter.
Well, Heidi, that bunny could be making a
I'm
few
going to say,
appearances,
I
couldn't
think
it?
Easter we might be making an appearance.
I absolutely love him when we pop him down to the Grange. So if the children want to come and see him, they're more than welcome.
Absolutely. Yes, and with Easter coming, we could maybe make a themed Easter egg hunt in the garden or something as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
And get Heidi and Edna with their Easter bonnets on.
Yes.
It's got to be done. It's
I'm
got
sure
to be
the
done.
Cross buttons I can
yes, hot
supply.
cross buns. And I'm sure the children would love to make you an Easter bonnet as well, Dwain. So,
If you look around the pub, I have quite a collection of hats, including top hats. The pub sort of looks a little bit like Wonderland for some unknown reason.
Right. Well, we've kind of done not Alice through the looking glass, but Bookham through the looking glass. See what I did there? Did you like that link? Yeah? All right. So, Gail, why don't you wrap up for us?
Thank you very much to all of our wonderful guests, Heidi and Edna and Dwain, and looking forward to seeing you for our next instalment. Thank you again very much.
Okay.
thank you.
Bye-bye now.